strategies and lead motivation. This is something I wanted to put together for my team. They're struggling. They're struggling learning the difference between cold leads, warm leads, and hot leads. So for those who don't know, we're going to get into it. But a cold lead is somebody that's not that really interested. They call them tire kickers. A warm lead is somebody that's interested in selling, but it's like, we'll see. A hot lead is somebody like, hey, I need to sell immediately. Like, I don't care about the paperwork. Can you solve my problem? I get into my story in a little bit. So what is a lead? A potential seller or buyer who has shown a level of interest. So immediately, low motivation, medium motivation, high motivation. That high motivation, you're able to tell. I remember I had a seller. This seller, her dad had he did something as far as like he took a mortgage out on the property and she couldn't pay for it. Something like that. It was something in that nature, and she was getting ready to lose her ranch. And I remember she was crying on the phone, bro. She was crying and she didn't know what to do. Back then, I had recently discovered about Subject 2, so I really didn't know what I was doing. So one of the things that I did was I always partner up with people that are more experienced than me because it makes the process a lot easier when you come across situations. So immediately what I did was I told one of my partners about the situation. You know, at the time they weren't buying land, so it made it a lot more difficult for me to try to close that transaction. And I didn't know anybody that was specifically buying land. You know, the person that I brought it to, he specifically bought Subject 2 houses. So, you know, I was trying to get as much feedback as possible to help that seller's problem. And I remember she was boo-hooing. She was crying. Like, she was distraught. Like, she was so motivated. She was like, please just take my home. You know, it was one of those situations. So understanding the lead type. A cold lead is somebody that's not that interested. He just trying to get an offer. He fishing. He's not serious. He's more or less like a window shopper. He's curious. Let's see. A warm lead is somebody that's like, I'm interested in selling, but the numbers have to make sense. So a lot of vets, and this is something I've heard, you know, I heard and I realize it's true also. A lot of vets will tell you this. If you're speaking to a property on market, online, listed with a agent or a for sale by owner, it will be considered warm lead because you already know that they want to sell. Now, a warm lead can go to a cold lead, and a cold lead can go to a warm lead. A warm lead can go to a hot lead. A hot lead can go to a warm lead to a cold lead. So it just depends on the tone of the conversation. You have to be willing to break down the conversation, break down, you know, what you hear. You know, you got to listen. Listen to the conversation. Listen to the motivational keywords. So a warm lead is somebody they're interested in selling. It's not really a thing. They're not really forced to sell, but they're interested in selling. Those 9 out of 10, you will be running into these people. You'll be running into warm leads the majority of the time. A hot lead is somebody, hey, they motivated. They don't care about the price. They're not trying to negotiate. They want their problem solved. If you see something on Facebook and it says if you see something on Facebook or Zillow that says motivated, do not assume that they're a hot lead. No. There's people in the real estate space that know these keywords. That know that they're going to attract a lot of people. So if they say a motivated seller and you give them a price and they want to negotiate or they want to do this, they want to do that, they're not motivated, bro. They're not motivated. Shout out to Mike again. One of the things he used to tell us all the time is what he looking for, motivated seller. I remember somebody asked him, what you mean by a motivated seller? He said a motivated seller, somebody that's willing to take anything I give them. If it's difficult for them to take anything that I give you, they're not a motivated seller. Point and simple. They're just a warm lead, somebody that wants to sell. Shout out to all my agents. That's one thing I be wanting my agents to understand. When you use the wrong lingo, they understand the lingo. So when you use the wrong lingo, when you say, hey, I'm a motivated seller, and somebody give you an offer and you reject it and say, hey, no, I want it closer to after repair value, or ARV, you are not a motivated seller. You are a warm lead, somebody that's interested in selling. So how to determine it? How to determine who's motivated? I just told you earlier, look for signs of urgency. Look for it. Listen to keywords. Listen to the things that they say. My girlfriend, when she got into real estate, one of her first leads was a divorce. She got a lead. The person was going through a divorce. She got to follow up on it. But pay attention to the responses. Pay attention. Ask open-ended questions. You want to ask questions such as like this: what timeline works best for you? One of the old ones is, how soon do you want to sell? Do you want to sell by tomorrow? Or, do you need 30 days, 60 days? How long until you ready to move? And then moving the lead along the spectrum. However you say it. So again, cold lead, warm lead, hot lead, closed lead. This goes over. A cold lead can turn warm, a warm lead can turn hot, a hot lead can close, and then avoid warm and cold leads. And remember what I said, most of your leads are going to be on, most of your leads on Zillow for sale by owner listed on Marketplace is going to be a warm lead. They're going to be a warm lead. Negotiation tactics. Listen more than you think. Shh. Don't talk. Listen. It's okay to talk, but you want to listen more than you talk. Position yourself as a problem solver. I do this all the time, especially when I'm on the phone. You got to learn how to pivot immediately to solving the problem instead of trying to worry about your problem. Your problem is you might need money. That's cool. You can't focus on you. You have to focus on solving the actual issue. Balancing empathy. This is a good one. You have to learn how to relate. And leaving the door open. This is something where I'm starting to improve on. See, I don't like really following up, and I don't really like it. I'm more of a like, hey, that this is what I'm on. This is what I want to do. Obviously, I can't say it like that, but I'm just telling you, hey, that this is the difference how I move. So the key takeaways, these are the key takeaways. But again, guys, I just wanted to show you this. Again, understanding the difference between cold, warm, and hot leads is very important when you're coming across the real estate lead. Anybody that wants to sell, are they fishing? Are they do they actually want to sell, but they want a good deal? Or are they motivated? If they're motivated and they're willing to take anything, that's a motivated seller right there. You got to learn the difference. You got to learn the difference. But thank you guys. Have a nice